What do you think in someone makes them feel insulted or offended? Why do people take offence?
It's like even with schools, you hear about safe rooms and things, or I'm not sure if there's the correct name, but unis and whatnot, where if you're offended, or if if something's too much, you can go in there and there's all nice sounds and that sort of thing where you can feel protected, and sheltered in a way. But aren't you going to uni to be challenged? Aren't you meant to be using your reasoning mind? Isn't your mind meant to be stretched? I just feel that you've heard the story with the butterfly, when the butterfly comes out of its cocoon and is trying to stretch its wings, and the person went over and helped it stretch its wings and get it in the right shape as it's coming out of the cocoon. So therefore, from that moment, it doesn't have the strength to fly.
Mm.
And I feel it's just like that, where you have to develop the strength, and by sheltering someone, they just don't develop the strength to be able to become resilient. Like my son, he's very capable. He's amazing, and I remember, this is a classic. Last year, I said to him, start trusting you. He used to meet friends of mine, and he wanted to wear a nice shirt, and it's my teenage son, and he came out wearing shirts. So what do you think of this? And I said, I'm not telling you. So you decide. And then he went to his room. A few minutes later, so what do you think of this shirt? I said, isn't it the same shirt? He said, no, it's slightly different shade. Super cute. I went, I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
I said, it doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want. And I was just having a discussion with him tonight, and how much he's grown. He's willing to express himself from a place of confidence that not all teenagers have. Let's put it that way. My goal wasn't to shelter him from life. It was to encourage him to have the confidence to trust himself and to rise to the challenges. And I'm not saying it's all been easy.
Mm.
The more we shelter, the weaker those that we shelter become. I had a friend of mine a while ago say, how can I protect my son from certain elements, certain things? And I said, why would you want to? I said, it will weaken your son.
Yeah.
Have thought about that, and obviously that's how things are. But and I think naturally a lot of parents fall into that. It's like, I just want to protect my child from this.
Yeah.
Well, then make them strong, and show them how strong they are, and show them how to walk tall, show them how to make decisions.
Yeah.
And I just feel that with media and certain things out there, I just feel that people are promoting being triggered. And I would rather, and this is a key point, sorry, I'm going on a little bit, but the other thing is,
to me, it seems to me that people that take offence are people that have unhealed parts of them in there, and so they take it personally and think that it's directed at them personally, when more often than not it isn't. Because as someone that's healed will not take that personally. They know it's not directed at them, and they take it as a joke if that's how it's intended.
One thing I feel it really relates to, no one really talks about. If I'm offended easily for the sake of myself or someone else, then I don't have a lot of peace within me.
Yeah.
Like, as in, someone that's peaceful and that's contented within, that doesn't trigger easy, will understand before they trigger. So I don't feel, people may challenge this, but if you are triggered easily with others, then, and this is people are more concerned about what's said these days than how it's said.
Yep.
And I've been saying for years, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
How you say it, exactly.
And the crazy thing is, now it doesn't matter how you say it. You can say something like, it's like if you mention this word in any context, then you are racist or this or that and blah, blah.
Yeah.
Everything's contorted.
Mm-hmm.
It's society's being weakened
Yeah.
with these ideas. It's crazy. I don't believe in it at all.
No, me neither.
I don't care what society, and look at society, look at the people that are dictating and challenging and look at their mannerism, their way, that are offering guidance for others. They're reactive, they're emotionally charged. There seems to be some sort of agenda. Like, I would rather gain insight for someone that has a sense of peace and depth. And it's just insane. I don't care what society tells me, what anyone tells me. It's how you say things. Because this is the thing. It's like, we don't know each other's triggers. It's obvious at times you can work out people's triggers, but the word love, for example, I can say, well, what's love mean to you? And what's the definition of love? You will explain it your way. It's the exact same word, and I'll explain it another way. And then everyone, 100 people in the room will explain it, and love will mean something else. It might mean suffering to someone. This is the thing. We have to allow people to have their own experience and interpretation based on their experience.
Mm-hmm.
And what if I'm being triggered? I'm saying, well, based on my experience, which means you're not seeing anyone else but yourself. Based on my experience, this is how it is, and you're projecting all your ideas and experiences, right or wrong. Well, they're wrong because there's no real understanding. And in saying that, you can understand, certain people have been suppressed at certain times. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened, but to say in this very moment, this is what you meant. It's like I have a conversation with you and I mention something, go, you mean this? It's like, no, actually I didn't. And if you're triggered, you don't, what you should say, if we had a conversation and let's say you said something that I didn't, that would potentially trigger me, this is the right thing to do. I might say, do you mean this? You go, no, I don't mean that. I mean this. Oh, okay, thank God. I thought, or it's like, I've said time and time again with, a lot over the years, seek understanding first.
Yeah.
Now, if we are triggered, there's no understanding. There's just triggering. And in that, once you're triggered, once there's an emotional response, there's virtually no chance of any understanding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you don't agree with me, or that's it, you're not good enough. There's judgment straight away. And like God, for example, to me, God is all that is, all that will be, potential of all things at all times, the nothingness, everything. There is nothing, like God to me excludes no thing, nothing. But God, the word God triggers some people.
Yep.
But so it's like, well, how can you say this? Some people might say, how can you say this or that about God? Because God to me is all encompassing. So, but God to someone else might think, some people might feel it's or it's control, or it's this, or I don't believe in God. Well, okay, you don't believe in your interpretation of God, which my interpretation of God is different. So who are you to say to me, no, you mean your interpretation of God is exactly the same as mine? And if it's not, then you have issues, and I'm going to assume and be triggered because, as far as I'm concerned, you mean the exact same thing as me. Like, what a small, narrow world that is to live.
Yep.
You have to verify and be open to possibilities that our understanding of something may be more limited than someone else's if we're being triggered and they're not. And not to say that, some people are racist. Some people don't like other cultures or whatever it is. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that being triggered and not seeking understanding is only going to escalate the whole problem. Yep. And if we, some people like to say inherently evil or dark. Well, I don't think, these aspects are natural within anyone. I think it's not, and like inherent to me means underlying in like it's the underlying essence, and there's thousands of white people fought other white people for black people, and this might get shut down here and now because some people don't like to hear that, but that's the way it was, North versus South. And, I'm not an expert on history, but I do know that much, and I do some investigations and things. I do read, and you can't believe everything you read, but, I feel it's just seek understanding first. That is the answer. And if, anyone out there that's easily triggered, and it's okay, it's no judgment here, but you will find the more easily you trigger, the darker the place you live will become. So, some people might take a few months or a few years and they go, well, remember that, because I go, well, yeah, actually my life isn't really improving. I'm getting angry more often. I'm being triggered more often. Well, just because, in actual fact, I'd just like to make this point. If you don't trigger, you can resolve more things in others. Like if I snap at you, Linda, for saying something irrespective of the context, are you going to be open to me? Like, it's just impossible. If you and I never fight, never argue, and there's always understanding. There's, I probably dominate conversations here and there. Hard, I know I'm shy as, but there's no dominating.
No.
I'm not going to speak on you, for you, but I don't believe you felt dominated by me, and
no, never.
Understanding.
Yeah.
So, and then relationships grow because people grow within themselves because they're not being shut down. It's if I understand you, then that encourages you to open and grow. And that's what you offer your children and your husband, and and that's how it should be. But to prejudge and not even give an opportunity for understanding, I'd like someone to explain to me how that could possibly help anyone or anything or society. It's impossible. Never has, never will. It becomes a dictatorship where everyone conforms. Some people won't like this, but you cannot tell me, you can't say you're not qualified. Well, qualified to what? It's common sense. This is everything we speak about, in my opinion, is ultimate common sense. If you control someone, you cannot expand their understanding. Nothing is worked through. Nothing is set free. There is just control and judgments. And we've all been controlled and judged at different points in our life, and none of us like it. No one does, especially during these times.
Yeah.
So a true leader will lead by example. That is it. They will be open. They will understand. They will seek understanding. Because, it's, as you know, when you feel understood, your walls come down, and you're open to possibilities.
Yeah.
So if you want the society to improve, understand people, allow the people that are open to possibilities to unravel themselves and to become more kind, and to stop prejudging everyone else, and not to say that if you are open to someone doesn't mean they will necessarily open to you. Some people harbor anger, and they cling to it like it's their life depends on it. So you can't help everyone, but you can help those that are ready by showing them kindness rather than judgments.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a sad place we live in when people will judge me for my words as opposed to how I use them. Because I'm careful with what I say to a degree. I never try and offend or hurt anyone. I know in my heart that I don't want to harm anyone. I truly don't. I'd rather nurture everyone that I can and have a laugh with everyone that I can. So for someone to take something out of context, then that's a sad place. And they're only harming themselves, really. So, sorry, that's a great question that you asked, because I think it's profound and it's worth talking about. There's no doubt about it. So for the young ones out there, and I feel that the young ones are more triggered, the up-and-coming young ones are more triggered now than anyone I've ever seen. And I feel like there's the young ones, no judgment here either. No judgments here either. The young ones have so much potential. they're so they're vast, and I feel that because there's so much potential, they can be triggered in some ways more easily. And I feel like the young ones, it's amazing that the generation that I was a part of, and yourself to some degree, the older generations were sort of pretty grounded in general and had to sort of learn to fly in a sense. I guess spiritually speaking, had to sort of reach up because I was I was described when I first went to India as lead boots. So
Really?
yeah, so very grounded, but I had to try and reach because I felt like I was stuck in the ground almost, And so for me, spiritually speaking, meditation and things I had to do and learning healing, I had to try and it was hard for me to some degree, but there was reactions and certain things. A lot happened when I meditated, but I had to reach up where the young ones today are already up sort of ungrounded, but they're already up there. They're already spacious. They have, in my experience, what I've seen, have a lot of potential to feel and intuit, and they have to ground. They go in the opposite direction to what I had to go. And so I feel like they're so sensitive to what's going on around them. And you've got to be like an old oak tree. You have to have your roots firmly planted in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So if a storm comes, you can bow to the wind, but you don't break. And I feel like the young ones in general are more sensitive, very sensitive, and because they're lacking the grounding, they sort of get blown all over the place. And I feel like, there's grounding exercises, and you might look up to, maybe we'll talk about it sometime, but look to ground, visualize your feet going into the ground, imagine your energy going into the ground. And even with shoes, we all wear shoes all the time. It's good to walk bare feet on the ground and allow your energy, because we're energy beings, allow your energy to flow from your crown, from your head down through your feet. That's been known to, limit swelling and that sort of thing as well. So there's many things we can do, but to the young ones, I just feel there's so much potential, and they feel so much that it's important that they question how they feel, to learn to ground and learn not to be so triggered, so they can seek understanding before judgments. Because the way, especially us older generation, express is different, and it's not reasonable to think or expect us to change our language because they interpret out what the words we use as potentially racist or insensitive. Just because we shouldn't have to take on the same language. We should expand our understanding to realize that everyone expresses differently, and that's based on age, race, everything. And obviously, by not being triggered, kindness endures ultimately. But we can't expect others to be kind before we are. We have to be prepared to be kind first. Thanks for listening in. I hope you enjoyed the topic. Feel free to comment. Any questions come up, by all means, jot them down, and we look forward to the next one. Take care.